I'm excited to introduce Janelle Yao, who is currently a member of our ECNL program, as well as one of the co-founders of Aid for All, which is a nonprofit that raises funds to support arts, sports, and music programs at local elementary schools. So, Janelle, let's start on the soccer side of things. How did you first get involved with the sport, and then how did you end up as a member of the Midwest United program?
So I started playing soccer when I was like 7 years old, and my dad enrolled me in like local classes at a local club. And then played like at a couple of teams in the area for like I would say about like 4 or 5 years. And then in eighth grade, Midwest reached out to me and asked me to go to some of their training sessions, like as a practice player. And Lewis Robinson, who was the coach of our '08 team at the time, he wanted me to like play full time. And so the club was transitioning to ECNL. So I thought that would be like really good for me to challenge myself and also to just like play in a new environment. And then that's kind of how I joined.
What's been your favorite part about being in the ECNL program so far?
Um, Traveling with some of my closest friends is definitely like a bonus. I really love going to like showcases, especially New Jersey was really fun just because our team did so well.
And let's transition and talk a little bit about the nonprofit that you started. If you're describing it to somebody who'd never heard of it before or didn't know anything about it, how would you describe what Aid for All is?
Okay, so Aid for All was started by three best friends, me, Anya Goyle, Brianna Zhang, and we really wanted to create a nonprofit that could help children access their like arts, sports, and music extracurriculars without any financial burden. And so we wanted to do something that involved our entire community as well as incorporated a lot of our own interests. Like I know that I'm very interested in sports, and Brianna and Anya do their own things, whether that's through dance or music or art. Um, and so right now we're trying to fundraise for local elementary schools and their physical education programs, as well as potentially doing some scholarship work for like I would say people who may be financially disadvantaged and hopefully getting them to pursue some of their own like extracurriculars that they're interested in. We're doing that by fundraising through a 5K, which is being held on October 29th this year. And our goal is to hopefully collectively, like throughout the rest of the year, raise 5K for 5K and donate a majority of that to, like I said, local elementary schools.
How did you when you first came up with the idea, how did you get it from the idea phase to actually like making this thing become a reality?
Oh, good question. So, my friends and I participate in like this business-oriented extracurricular at our high school that's called DECA. And one of the categories in DECA is community giving. And part of that requires doing something for your community to benefit people, whether that's like raising money or raising awareness. And so last year we held a clothing drive to help with just like winter clothing and just funding our like local community center who accepts clothing donations. That said, we wanted to transition into focusing more on underprivileged youth within our community. And so we started looking into like 501(c)(3) certification, which is one of our goals. And from there, we just like, I guess we got a lot of assistance from local nonprofits. Like some of our not our parents, but some of our friends' parents are or work within a lot of nonprofit organizations. So we've been going to them for a lot of advice on how to upstart it. But mostly we've been doing a lot of this planning on our own, which is why it's taken so long, but also why it's such like um I would say why it's such like an important process is because you have to be so involved.
And you're a student athlete, you're still a high school student, that's keeps you busy by itself. So what does the day-to-day management of the nonprofit look like, and how do you balance between that and soccer and school?
So right now, because I'm injured, I wouldn't say that I have much trouble balancing like soccer because I'm not going to practices anymore. But if you're talking just like soccer related stuff, I have like PT like 3 times a week, and that can be kind of difficult to manage. But I try to, when I get home or whenever I have free time, I try to do as much homework as I can. And then I'll usually go to PT like right after school. And then after PT is kind of like crunch time when I send like as many emails as possible, make our social media posts and like text or go on call with like my friends, and we try to do as much and split up the work. They've definitely been really gracious with me, especially about like time management, just because they know like I have a lot of things going on and so do they. So we try to like spread the work as much as we can. I know that like Brianna handles a lot of the outreach stuff. I handle a lot of like the social media management and advertising. And then Anya works a lot on just like partnerships, business deals, and stuff like that. So I guess that's how I manage it. But honestly, the biggest thing is just like get the stuff done and don't procrastinate.
Yeah. So you mentioned you have an event coming up in October. Could you tell us a little bit more about what that event is, what it's supporting, and how it kind of all came together?
Yeah, for sure. So our event in October, on October 29th specifically, is a charity 5K event at Spring Valley Park. How that's pretty much work is we have a run sign up link where you can sign up to run or you can donate. Um, And then as far as like how the event works, we have different prizes for different age categories. So I believe there's three different age categories, and children under 6 run for free. It's also kind of like Halloween centered since it's literally like a couple of days before Halloween. So you can also like show up and run in a costume if you want, or you can take it like seriously and super competitively. Um, as far as prizes are concerned, we have like a couple of Bronson Athletic Club memberships. We have Orange Theory, like free classes, whether that's for like gymnastics. I think there's some swimming lessons on there. There's also some music lessons that we're looking into getting. And then each participant will receive like a goodie bag or as like a free prize. And then we're also working with my elementary school that I attended a couple of years ago, and they've been making or working on like handmade clay medals for every single participant as like a nod to what we're supporting, which are these programs that these kids are involved in. And then the money raised will go towards primarily local elementary schools within like the Kalamazoo public school system and the Portage public school system. And then we're also looking to do an equipment drive to hopefully help get some, kids, local kids specifically, equipment that they may not have access to without. And then how we kind of got started with our 5K is I think in May we decided that we wanted to do a fundraising event, but we didn't really know how. And so one of our friends came up to us and was just like, well, why don't you just do a 5K? Like it should be super easy to plan. It's not. So throughout the summer, we've been doing like restaurant fundraisers. So we've been working with like Chipotle, Qdoba and stuff. And there will be like a specified time period where people can come in and dine, and then we'll get a percentage of the proceeds from that. So that's how we got a lot of our initial capital. And then we've been doing a lot of door-to-door fundraising, basically going to different neighborhoods, asking them whether they'd be willing to donate to show our cause and to help us get money for our 5K. And then a lot of businesses that we've been working with have been more than willing to like provide certain supplies for the 5K. Our friend Izzy, whose mom is the director of the Bronson Athletic Club, has definitely helped us with a lot of like brand deals and getting us involved with certain collaborations. And then we've also hosted like a couple of smaller fundraisers. Like we're doing a bake sale for to hopefully help continue to fund the 5K and get like certain things set up and purchase a lot of other stuff. So those are like the main fundraising methods we've been using thus far.
So you have this big event. You're already making a sounds like a pretty big impact in your local community. What do you think the long-term goals for the nonprofit are?
Oh, another good question. So we haven't like decided where we exactly like want this to go, aside from we really want to get 501(c)(3 certified, and then from there we want to hopefully start opening up like different chapters at different high schools so that we can like expand the community that we're reaching as opposed to just like our public school system. We want to hopefully get kids from like all over Southwest Michigan and then maybe one day even expand like statewide and then hopefully nationwide. I mean, that would be pretty sick, but for now, I think we're just focusing on making sure that our one branch functions as good as it can. And then from there, we're going to look towards improving it long term. Um, we obviously want to keep this going throughout like high school and hopefully beyond to like college and stuff. But that's for later. I mean, we haven't thought too far ahead yet.
As you've kind of been building this, what do you think has been maybe the most challenging thing that you've faced, and then maybe the most rewarding thing that you've experienced?
So the most challenging thing has definitely been rejection. I think we've reached out to like so far 100+ businesses and a lot have said no, whether that's like donations, whether that's advertising. Like there are so many things that I think we didn't perceive would be difficult when we first wanted to do a 5K, but now that we're actually like in the process of conducting a 5K, we've realized that rejection is one of the hardest things you face because it makes you feel like what you're doing isn't enough. And sometimes it can really put like a roadblock just in your entire progress because you feel like you haven't really made as much progress as you want. And you feel like there's something in your way, which would be like this rejection, these people saying no. Um, and we feel that kind of has to do with us being high schoolers in a way, because we know that like, because we're young, a lot of businesses, a lot of people may not be so willing to like help us because, we're younger, but we're hoping that we can show people that this is like something we're dedicated to. This is something we're truly serious about, and hoping that people will recognize that and continue to want to work with us in the future.
And just to kind of wrap it up, if a Midwest family member wants to support Aid for All, how could they do that?
Oh my gosh. Um, So I would say the biggest thing that they could do is hopefully sign up for our 5K. But if they're unable to do that, then you can definitely donate on our website. I know that we're accepting like food and water donations as well for our 5K. So if anyone wants to do that, let me know and we can arrange a pickup date. And then I would say social media and advertising is definitely something that we would love help with. So if people could share that on their Facebook pages, Instagram stories, really anything that would definitely help us out and be a major assistance to our nonprofit and to our fundraising goals.
Awesome. And I'll definitely grab the links from you for your website and your socials, and then we can share that along with this interview just to make sure people have those resources that they can check out if they want to, for sure.
Okay.
That's all the questions that I have. So again, that's Janelle Yao from our 2008 ECNL team, co-founder of Aid for All, which is a nonprofit she started. So thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a
All
great
right.
day.